Tell me more about the 9th chapter and postscript of your book, Clive, where you talk about a more purposeful world.
Well, the first 8 chapters of the book take you through the conditions that are required in an organisation in order for it to be purposeful. But I wanted a chapter that would kind of round that off and ask the question about what is next. And one of the things that I've noticed in having conversations with people about purpose in organisations is, surprise, surprise, it doesn't stop there. People need purpose in their families, we need purpose in communities, in government, and in our world in general. So the 9th chapter is a bit of a tease to say, if this is so important in our organisations, what about the rest of our lives? What about developing a purposeful world?
And what of the future, Clive? What else can we expect to emerge from the Primeast stable in terms of publications?
Well, it's one of those things. You write a book, you do research, you begin to explore concepts, and you begin to realise that there's more to the subject than you initially thought. And there are some natural titles. I'm not making any promises, but there are some natural titles that may arise out of this work. For example, we've talked about purpose in the context of an organisation, and we've hinted at purpose in teams. And so one book that could arise is Designing the Purposeful Team, because of course that's so important to managers in organisations, and it's also important to the organisational architects, because team development too often is left to the chance and the whim of individual managers, where in actual fact we believe it should be systematic in aligning every single team to the purpose of the organisation. And there's a whole book in there that could very easily be written in the next few years. Another thing that we've discovered, and particularly as we've explored talent in organisations, is that the world of talent management is changing. The last time I engaged with HR directors in London, we discovered that talent management has moved from the domain of HR into the domain of the manager. But when I asked them and challenged them, what's next? They talked about how it would progressively move more and more into the domain of the individual. In other words, individuals owning their own talent, owning their own careers, and consciously aligning that to something that is meaningful to them and meaningful in the context of the organisation. So could we see a book in a few years' time that is talking about designing the purposeful career? Who knows? So there's a few titles that are kind of up our sleeves. As to which one comes first, it's anybody's guess. But it seems to me as though it's all work in progress. Thank you for asking.